All right, guys. I know this is a little bit unusual because it is Coach Broser behind the camera and Mad Max Dave Borlay in front of the camera. So I'm just going to say this is a special episode, a very special episode of Be Built by Broser, being brought to you directly from four-time Mr. Olympia, his backyard, Jay Cutler, who was kind enough to let Dave and I stay at his house while we're here this weekend for Dave's competition, which we've been working towards, the Jay Cutler Classic, which will be held at the Palms tomorrow. And Dave finally wants to get in front of the camera and say a few words, so I'm going to let him pick it up from here and tell the world what's going on right now. Dave?
Yeah, don't get used to it, you guys. It's been twice already now with the posing since last week at the Be Built by Broser Goals and then today. But it was important for me to say a couple things, just because people have been asking. Number one, they say, "Oh, you gotta document the show, or you gotta document the prep," and I would much rather let Eric and Mac and all the other guys be the star of those shows, just because I feel like I'm better behind the camera and in front of it. But this was an important show for me for two reasons. You know, number one, it's the Jay Cutler Classic, which he wanted me to do last year actually, and I didn't do it. For two reasons. Number one, I didn't think I was going to be good enough to place well or to win, and number two, whenever Jay's involved with things like that, especially being a show, last year I was like, what if I win the show, but it's not decisive, and people will say, oh well, he won because it's Jay's buddy and stuff. So those are like the two main reasons why I didn't do it. But I also didn't feel like I was going to be at my best, and that's why I decided to just not do it, even though I won the Legend February 1st, just like a couple months before. So this year, Eric, I told Eric I wanted to compete possibly again, and he didn't say anything at first. He just kind of let we kept working together and stuff, and then he said, I would really, if you want to compete, I really would want to help you out, and I think you look good, but I think you have better potential than what you've shown so far. So I accepted gratefully, and I don't know what to say. I've never looked this way, and many of you guys have seen the pictures on social media and told me this is my best ever, and I think by far is my best ever. So I don't know what's going to happen at the show this weekend. All I know is that I feel very, very confident that even if I don't win, I've won already, and that's the way I feel. I'm very, very calm, I'm very, very confident, I'm very, very happy with the way I look, with my look. Not just my condition, but my overall look, my fullness, my shape. It's just 17 weeks we started prepping for this, December 6th. I hadn't had one cheat day since then, even though I asked Eric, hey, during the holidays, is it okay to... He says, no, once you start the prep, it's every day until, and I'm like, wow. I thought it was a lot different from what a lot of coaches are doing these days. I'm talking about, the George Farr and Chris Aceto, and I know these guys are putting their athletes on a lot of cheat meals, or sporadically throughout the prep, and that was not what Eric said. So I said, okay, and surprisingly, I didn't feel like I even needed a cheat meal. I was just seeing progress coming so quickly with the diet and the training that I was just so excited every time I would see him. So there's two things I want to say, you guys, before all the craziness starts, which is going to be today. We're Friday, so it's actually the day before the prejudging in the show, and two people I really have to thank to begin with. Number one, I want to thank Jay for being one of my best friends, my motivation, my inspiration. He's always been the drive, and when I came in his house before the last Olympia to shoot All Access, I really felt like, to me, it was like going to school, going to the university to see what a real champion Mr. Olympia does to prep for a show. And that, to me, brought me some tools that I could have never asked any other way, to actually see it and to see the dedication and the drive and the discipline that it takes to be a champion, to do a competition the right way. And that was number one. But I competed afterwards, after I saw him doing that. And that being said, even with the drive and the determination and the discipline that it takes to do a contest, if you don't have the tools, and if you don't have the proper instructions, and if you don't have the proper way to do the contest, all the goodwill in the world is not gonna, make you be a good athlete. And I think that's what I was missing. So when you came along, Eric, I think that was the missing part of what I needed to actually be as good as I could possibly be. You know, so you came along and taught me so much. And made it fun to train again in the gym. I said that when I first started the prep. I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is that it's fun to train again. It's like every workout is different. Every workout is exciting. I can't wait to go to the gym. And after working out for 20-something years, I mean, I started when I was 18. I'm 40. I'm going to be 43 now. It's really cool to still go in the gym and like, I can't wait to go work out. You know, I can't wait to see what's on the sheet today, you know, which I never know from one day to the next. That's just the workout part. But when the diet kicked in and everything started falling into places and you start changing literally every week and then every day towards the end, every hour. I mean, I'm changing by the hour now. What a waste of time it's been for me to train all these years since I'm a kid, since I'm 18 years old and competing on and off and not have you, not knowing you, not having the right tools to put all that drive and motivation and passion for the sport together. Because when you do that, when you find someone like you, which by the way would be worthless if you didn't have the drive and discipline to do what's on the sheet though. So it's a combination, you guys. It's not just, you know, you have to have a great coach like you, Eric, and if you cheat all the time on the program, if you cheat on the diet, if you don't do what's on the sheet, it's gonna go nowhere. So that's what I want to say. I want to say that I'm very grateful to have someone like you in my life and someone like Jay, because with those two components, you can't lose. The final product is going to be great. And it wasn't even hard. And I hate to say this because people always assume like, I look so great because I suffered more during this show. I ate more fish. I did more cardio. I took more gear. Whatever the reason is that people think I did, it's none of it. I didn't suffer. If I did cardio first thing in the morning when I first got up, empty stomach, which everybody seemed to think you have to do. If I did that 4 times since December 6th, that's probably it. I did cardio, but I didn't do extreme amount of it. I didn't eat hardly no fish, if ever. It was an easy prep. I hate to say it, but it was so easy because all I did is follow what was on the sheet, what was on the plan, day to day, week by week, and everything fell into place. And I feel great today. It's one day before the show. I got tons of energy. I feel confident. I'm joking around all the time. I'm not dead. And I look my best ever. So I can't wait to see what happens Saturday. This is just a little intro. We're going to film backstage, you guys. We're going to film hopefully some good news after the show. And if Jay lets us, we'll shoot a little bit of what he has to say as well. So I'll do a lot of talking. It's not going to be a BBL Bob Rosa where he talks all the time. This one will be me talking a lot. You'll still hear say something, but you want to say something else? I mean, based on what I said, or
yeah, no. I mean, I really just wanted to let you. You haven't really spoken. You ask me questions. You haven't really talked that much about the prep. It's been more about Mac Truck and his prep, which actually Mac just sent me pictures today. He's looking great. He's got his show next weekend.
Yeah, and he looks much better than the last one.
Yeah, and so I mean, yeah, so it's real exciting. So I just want to just let you talk and you say everything that you've been wanting to say all along, but you've decided you just wanted to keep it quiet, put your head down, do the work. And I think that the key is, what you said, a couple of things is that number one, I call myself a physique GPS. I mean, you pretty much calculate, you put into the GPS where it is that you want to go and when you want to be there, and I basically spit back at you the most effective and efficient way to get there. If you take wrong turns along the way, it's gonna take longer. It's not gonna be a safe trip. And you didn't do that. You followed everything to a T, and you could see the results. Every single week, every single time we get together, you looked better. And
sometimes nuts. It's funny because at the beginning it was progress, but small progress, and towards the end it just seemed to be bigger progress from week to week. It went faster for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's that's what I kind of told you how it was. I pretty much predicted for you every single week how it would go, but the other thing is that you also have the passion and the dedication to do it. You followed everything to a T, and that's the key no matter what. And you had trust in the process, and you could see where you're sitting today. And I'm really glad. I'm really glad that during this prep that you didn't. It's not like it was easy or anything because there was no cheat meals. It was very strict. But, you didn't suffer. You never really had terrible energy where you couldn't work, where you had to sleep all the time.
No.
And I love that you enjoyed the training. I loved sending you new workouts every single day. And you know, that's the key, because it was fun. It wasn't a prep where you were just miserable. And I just love that it's a day before the show. And you know, we were sitting here last night with Jay and
watching us pose in the kitchen and
posing in the kitchen, and we were all, you know, we were all joking around till 1 o'clock in the morning and just having a good time. 2 o'clock in the morning, really. And Jay's girl was here, and Jesse was here, and it was just having a great time. And that's not usually like that before a show. So I think that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, we'll just cut it here, and we'll definitely take a lot more footage. Maybe we'll pose a little bit in the hotel room later, so I can see where I'm going to peek you out on Saturday. And we'll just do backstage and after the show. And I think this will just be a lot of fun for everybody. But I'm just so glad. I'm so glad that you jumped. You know, you're on camera here, and you know, as you can see, we're here at Jay's place, and you know, and again, I just want to, I want to say a personal thank you to Jay, because obviously Jay has known Dave for quite a long time. Dave's been here many times. Jay and I really just recently met, and he was kind enough to be like, you know, let Eric, you know, you wanted to have me at the show, and he said, you know, bring Eric to the house and let him stay, and he's been, you know, he's let me sleep in his hut, which is a little extra house he has here on the side, guest house, which was awesome. And you know, he lets me eat here and work here and everything. So thank you, Jay, for having me, and hopefully he'll jump on camera at some point. So, and that's a good place to wrap it up, and we will be back a little bit later.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
You must have been posing because you're not cracking this bad. Have you seen? No, it's from that side. Rondo's seen enough. Get there.
You're better today than when yesterday, for sure.
Let me see, like, what's muscular abs and thighs.
Thighs are very dry today.
How many meals you eat so far?
I'm about to eat a third one.
He'll look better as he gets fuller now.
Yeah.
He was popping last night while basketball, like, you know,
Yeah, but he's still.
we have more food now.
But he's very dry today.
It's good to judge of the more food you eat, the better you look, you know?
Yeah. So I should at least have 3 meals before the pre-judging, before we go on
You
stage.
gotta have 3.
Definitely gonna have to have 3.
Yeah, you have to have 3. Because he's still not, like...
I'm getting a pump though. I mean, I told I can feel.
No, you don't usually, until you hit like a 3rd or 4th meal is when you start to fill out. But you're in a good position right now. You're very dry, striated, and
Let me see his side chest. That shows a lot of detail. The shoulder and arm and all that stuff.
glutes striated.
It'll be a long time after more meals.
So Jay, what do you think so far?
Keep eating. Keep eating and just ready to go down. Let's see. By tomorrow you'll be done with prejudging.
Yeah.
Probably just got done. Hour ago.
How you feel, Dave?
24 hours. I'm happy.
All right, cool.
All right, that's it. This is a check-in time. Look at this guy. We're following Jay to the Palm right now.
So Dave, what are we doing? What are we doing at the Palm right now?
We're following Jay to go check in. It's Friday night, so the check-in's on Friday night here. And if you look at that big marquee, we should see the king, the true king of bodybuilding soon appear. Not Panda Express, it's not it.
It's definitely not Panda Express. Although he is as big as a bear.
Let's follow him over here. We may not see it this time, but so we're gonna go check in and give the music, get the number, get registered, and then check in our room because we actually got a room here for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Jay's actually 2 cars ahead of us, not the car right in front of us.
That's not
Just
Toyota
letting you
Corolla.
he's 2 cars ahead. And we're 1 night away from David taking the stage.
Just a few hours.
The Jay Cutler Classic.
Yeah, we're about
So Dave, just tell me real quick, as we're getting into the hotel, we're going to check in, you're going to do your competitor check-in. How you feeling right now?
I feel great. I feel happy and great and not sick, not nervous.
Good energy.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, I haven't cut the water yet. We haven't stopped cutting the water. You're supposed to cut the water at the next meal, so I'll tell you. You may have to ask me again.
I'll ask you again later. But then if you tell me you're not feeling good, I'll just tell you to look in the mirror and everything will be all right.
Yeah, I'll feel great instantly. All right, so we're going to find a place to park, you guys, but we'll shoot again as we get in, okay? Stay tuned.
Sounds good.
For your friends.
So this is Coach Broser actually right now, filming for Be Built by Broser. And we are walking into the Palms. Dave Bourlet in red, and on his right. King.
You didn't go with the commentary, I can hear you.
We are at the Palms. It's becoming more real every step that we take here. Here we are. We'll pick it up in a bit. So we're here at the check-in right now. Jay Cutler Classic. There's Jay, Matt, Dave.
What do we go to check in? In there? We're gonna go check in, guys. Yeah. Let's go see where we have to go. I'm filling out the late entry.
Filling out the late entry form. Dave likes to be late.
Always last minute, just like Jay.
Except that his body's right on time, so he's good. With friends. That's the
They
man,
watch my
huh?
video all the time, these guys. Daniel actually did an interview with me at the last Olympia.
Yeah?
Right? Talk about that.
Yeah. No, 2 Olympias ago, actually.
The last Olympia he did.
Oh, yeah, right.